Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Addison, whatever time you're listening, and thank you for joining us for our ASD Chat for All podcast. We have lots of fun and exciting things on the horizon for Addison School District 4, and this podcast allows us the opportunity to connect with our parents and guardians, families, and community to celebrate our students, their accomplishments, and so much more. Your hosts for this podcast are ASD4 Superintendent Dr. Nick Sutton and myself, Dean Constantopoulos. You interested in hearing more about what's going on in District 4? Come on in and have a chat. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us again for another episode of our ASD Chat for All podcast. My name is Dean Constantopoulos. I'll be one of your hosts this afternoon. Our co-host, Dr. Nick Sutton, is currently at a conference, so right now it's just going to be me and our two wonderful guests. So joining us today, we have Eve Merdian and we have Maritza Gaston here from Wesley School, and they're going to be talking to us about some really interesting programs that we have going on here in the district. So welcome to both of you. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. So I, of course, know who you both are. But for anybody that's listening, tell us a little bit about yourselves. So how long have you both been in education? Have you worked in any other school districts? That sort of thing.
Hi, everybody. I am Eve Merdian. I teach first grade at Wesley. This is my 12th year in education and my 11th year in Addison. I've actually been lucky enough to be teaching first grade at Wesley for all of those 11 years.
Very cool.
I taught 1 year in Glen Ellen prior to coming to Addison.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been in first grade since being here.
Hi, everybody. I've been in education 17 years, and I started in Champaign-Urbana. I started in Urbana.
Yeah.
I taught 4 years, second grade, third grade, and then I transferred to another school in Champaign, and I taught ESL pullout, kindergarten through fifth grades, and I've been in Addison 10 years, and this is I was at Lake Park for 4 years in a one-way dual program, and then this is my 6th year here at Wesley School in a two-way dual program.
Very cool. So that's awesome. So, you actually just brought up some interesting buzzwords. So one-way program, dual-way program. So that's something that I kind of want to talk about today. So I know that this is something for me personally that I wasn't really aware of that ASD4 was taking part of before I started working here. But so these mono-language classes, dual language classes, what is that exactly? How does it work? What are our kids learning? Can you both give us a little bit of insight about what these programs are?
Okay. Yes. Well, like I said before, I was at Lake Park for 4 years, and that was a one-way dual program. And one-way dual language means that all the students they dominate one language.
Okay.
And then we have the students that are learning English. And in a two-way dual program, we have students who come in and have no Spanish and want to learn the Spanish. And then we have the students who need to learn the English. And we have all kinds of students sprinkled in between there. So
Gotcha.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah.
It's a much of a different challenge. And one thing that I want to let everybody know is that when you compare the one-way dual and the two-way dual, the one-way dual program, in my opinion, is a lot easier.
Okay.
Because when I was at Lake Park, all the students understood Spanish, and all I would have to worry about is I'm going to teach them English. That was the language that they needed to learn.
Gotcha.
When I came to Wesley, I was speaking in Spanish, and I had a lot of students look at me and ask, can you say that in English? When I was speaking in Spanish.
Gotcha.
So that makes it for a big challenge.
So based off what you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the needs will be different based on the school that we're at and the demographic of language speakers per school.
Yes, and Stone and Wesley are the only two schools that have the two-way dual program, and all the other schools have the one-way dual program.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And any parents can elect to have their child in the dual program.
Okay.
And then if they don't want their child to be, let's say Spanish is spoken in the home and they don't want their child to be in the dual language program, then they would be placed in my classroom but receive ELL services.
Gotcha. So there is the option. It's not like a mandatory program or anything like that.
No.
So parents can elect to be a part of it,
Yes.
elect to be out of it. That's really cool. So that gives the families kind of a lot of the power to figure out exactly how they want their student to be learning in languages and stuff like that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So then tell us a little bit more. So I want to know, like, what do you both feel are some strengths of this format? And then what have you seen just in the time that it's been here? What do you think are some things that maybe we can improve on or think about some more?
I mean, I think that this program is giving the opportunity to so many more students for them to be bilingual. And in today's world, we know the value of that.
Absolutely.
Being bilingual is so important, and this program really sets them on the path to that, and that's great. I think Maritza can speak on some challenges more than I can.
Yes. Well, first I'll say the strengths. The program does have strengths because with my experience here, I have seen students that come in to our program speaking no Spanish whatsoever. They don't want to speak Spanish in the classroom. I'll give them a sentence starter and I'll have them try to repeat, but I try not to force them because I don't want to force the language onto a student.
Gotcha.
But I have had the experience where some students, like when I see them in third grade, I'll say about this one experience that I had. I had a student, a third grader, come up to me, and I had never heard her speak Spanish on her own, out of her own, because she wanted to speak it. She started speaking Spanish to me, and in my brain, I did not register it. At first, I was like, wait a minute, she's speaking Spanish to me, because my brain was thinking English, this child, English. And I was so amazed that she was speaking Spanish very beautifully, very fluently. And I have had other students like that too, where sometimes I speak with the other two-way dual language teachers, and I ask them, oh, how is this student doing? And then when they tell me, oh, that student is reading, they're writing in Spanish. To me,
amazing.
it's like, wow, it is
it's
such, to me, that is so rewarding to hear those
incredible.
Stories. That it's beautiful. It's
to that point, I know that in high school, we have to take at Addison Trail, for example. I know that I had to take Spanish classes. But I felt that maybe in high school, it might be a little bit too late for a lot of that language to sink in. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I hear that a lot of the research shows that if you catch kids really early, then the language is able to sink in a lot more. So it seems like this is a lot better of an idea than just having somebody learn a foreign language way past the point where a lot of people want to learn it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right? Yes, and that's what everybody knows. I think, the majority of people rate that the strengths, right now, this is the age when they should be learning a language, because right now their brains are ready to learn. Yes, like a sponge, right? They're ready to learn a second language, a third language. One of my coworkers just told me that there's another student that is already fluent in Spanish and English, and she's thinking of taking a third language.
What?
And I was like,
so
she
cool.
is ready for it because she excels in so many things, has amazing supportive parents where, you look at that and you're like, you are one of the model students of the two-way dual language program, the dual language program.
And what a tool that she'll have when she goes into the workforce and everything.
Yes.
Well, there's so many jobs that require or really are looking for bilingual speakers. So that's really, you're so right. It's going to make it so marketable. That's so cool.
Yes.
So let's hop back into a little bit about what do you think are some things that some challenges of the program?
Well, challenges. One of the biggest challenges that I find is that I think sometimes parents will put their child in the program and think you're going to teach them Spanish and they're going to come out, the first year, once they go to second grade, they'll be fluent in reading, speaking, writing, and they don't realize, if I'm the only one speaking Spanish to them, they can't, they will not have as much success. Like they need that extra help from the parent, and especially in first grade, where if a parent didn't know Spanish, they could still help the child with a reading book. Like you can still read because the Spanish is very phonetic. Our alphabet is very similar, right, to the both alphabets, right? They're very similar. A lot of the letters have the same sounds. So that's one of the challenges that I find that I wish parents knew that please, you have to help us. And the students, I find that the students that get that support, those are the students that fly. They start becoming fluent in all 4 domains, and it is something amazing to see.
So kind of like even in regular classes, it's important for it not just to stop here at the classroom, all the support and the help. We want the teachers, the staff, the student, and the family to all be involved, and it especially makes sense in this too. Eve, did you have anything else to add?
No, just that, I mean, it's the same thing as in a mono classroom. Like, we're a team, and the parents that are involved and reading with their child at home and doing homework with them if they are able, or just asking how their day was. That just really makes a huge difference for everybody.
Absolutely. And you know what? This leads perfectly into my last question for you. So what do you think Wesley families specifically, what can they do to get more involved in what their children are doing at school, whether it's in a mono class or in a dual class, or even just for like after school events or something like that? What are some ways that our parents can get more involved at Wesley?
We're always looking for ways to better involve our parents in what's going on, and just coming to the events that the PTA throws, or that we have after school. We have a winter family night coming up in January. That's going to be very informal, and just coming to those events, and like I said earlier, just talking to their child about what happened that day. Reading at Wesley we have a Red Bag program, so they get a book at their reading level every night. That they get to take home, and it's always a new book. So telling them to read that if they're able. I know parents are so busy, but if they're able, sitting down and reading it with them. Just little things like that really go a long way.
That's great.
Yes, and I agree with Eve. I totally agree that I think with the parent support, and also if the parent shows like enthusiasm for school, if the parent says like, oh, can I see your red homework folder? Can I see, what did you do today? What do you have to study? Oh, you have to study those words. Okay, let's study them. And just the parent that that really helps us. Like when a parent shows like enthusiasm and shows like, I'm proud of the work you did, and ask them, about the school day and what did you do? What did you do in reading? What did you do in writing? And,
that enthusiasm is infectious, right? Like the parents get excited, and then the kids want to make their parents feel good, so then they get more pumped, and so that's so cool. Well, let me. I said it was the last question, but I do have one more question for you both. If there was a way, let's just say we got a parent out that's listening to this, and they're like, well, I really want to learn more about the mono or the dual classroom or something like that, or I want to learn more about this event that's coming up in January. What is the best way that a parent of a Wesley student could reach out to either of you?
They can email me at emerdian@asd4.org. I also am pretty active. I've been trying this year to be more active on, I guess it's called X now.
Exactly. I always get mixed up with that still.
So I am Mrs. Merdian first there. So yeah, that kind of will give them a little insight into what happens in the mono classroom.
Perfect.
And well, like Eve, anybody can feel free to email me, Gaston at asd4.org, or just come to the school.
Perfect.
And find out more.
Absolutely.
I'm willing to meet with you after school and spend time with you and explain things to you. Yes.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
And if anybody has any questions, or if you would like to be on the podcast, which I know everybody's jumping to do, you can reach out to me on X as well, at Addison SD4. So thank you both so much for joining me today. This is a lot of great information. And honestly, like, I know that at a lot of board meetings and things like that, people have been talking about these mono and dual classrooms. And I know this is something that's going to be continually a conversation going forward. So it's really good to arm our parents with accurate information.
Absolutely.
So thank you both so much for taking the time with me.
Thank you.
And for everybody listening, stay tuned for next time. Thank you for tuning in to our ASD Chat for All podcast. Check us out at www.asd4.org, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts for more. We'll be back soon with another episode, so stay tuned.